And we're going to start with an LJ analogy, because that's how this podcast goes. Strap yourselves in. You've missed it. I've missed it. Don't worry. It's never easy finding out that your significant other has done the dirty on you. And I don't mean she's gone and bought you NBA 2K instead of NBA Live. Although, that is heartwarming. I would play NBA Live till the day I die, because that's the cutest thing. They've tried, This isn't trying, They've just gone out in a club, done something regrettable. Maybe it was a drunken mistake. Maybe it was a little fondle. Maybe they've just been going whole hog and it's a boss from work. Alright, I'm sure we've all been in a situation where we've been either person A, doing the cheating and needs a strict telling off, or person B, the guy on the receiving end who is then going to proceed to go into their feelings, listen to the 1975 for a year, and maybe not quite get over that. Jordan Howard, the other night, gets a call from his best mate saying, yeah, is your girlfriend home right now? He's like, no. Well, she's out in the club and there's some man called Melvin that she's talking to, and let me just tell you, Jordan, she's all over him. She's grinding like LJ on a Wednesday afternoon. There is no stopping that train. And whether you've heard it passively through a friend or experienced it firsthand, the reaction's the same. It's, what the hell do you do now? Right? And Jordan Howard's no stranger to this. He's been an underdog his entire career. But in this situation, if you get cheated on or something like that, you're left in a spot of, well, do I believe my friend? Do I punch my friend? Do I get angry at my friend? How does the friend know? It's either way, though, it's going to tarnish your relationship with the significant other, right? There's no doubt in that no matter what happens in the next week or so, however you go about confronting said significant other, you're going to end up in a bit of a mucky puddle, aren't you? It's like, it's mess all over the floor. You don't know what's happened. So basically, if you haven't figured it out, Jordan Howard almost gets shipped. I say almost gets shipped. There was an offer sent to the Chargers, apparently according to Albert Breer of Monday Morning Quarterback, who on the scale of Jason Lackenfora to Ian Rappaport is certainly up near Ian Rappaport, alright? Albert Breer is no slouch. He's one of the most respected writers in the game. Someone that, along with Peter King during his time at MMQB, I massively looked up to. I love the positivity they bring, the depth. It's like the Athletic before the Athletic. The stories about being inside the draft rooms, the war rooms with teams, the things that come out. You'd be surprised. The depth and the access they have is borderline unparalleled. So it's not that I'm taking Albert Breer's stuff out of context, but he tweeted the other day that there was essentially a trade submitted by the Eagles for a swap of Jordan Howard for Melvin Gordon and a mid-round pick swap. Yeah, that's not great if you're Jordan Howard reading that, is it? That's not great. Now, I heard from a little birdie. Again, I can't really say I'm a Chargers insider or anyone like that, but the sources that I do have, I tend to trust. I don't claim to be an insider. Actually, I do. It's in the name of the podcast, so that went well. But it's not my brand, I like doing analysis. I like settling down and telling stories, not in a kid's story but kind of way, but I tend to shy away from getting news reports out there, because if it is wrong, information gets out, as I always say on this podcast, it's for a reason. Whether that's an agent trying to set the ball rolling, whether it's a player trying to get some leverage, whether it's a team trying to get some leverage, or just get a base of the market, there's always an intent behind that information out there. It's not just an insider getting some info from a mate and going, I'm going to tell him before he tells me off. That's not what happens. As much as unless you're Jason Lackenfora, then it's your daily job. That is your job. That is all you do. Sorry, Jason. But anyway, if you're Jordan Howard and you're reading that, it's not a good look. You've got to bear in mind that Jordan Howard, okay, day 3 selection, out of Indiana, comes in, blows the league up. He's third in rushing yards since entering the league, okay? He's had a really big chip on his shoulder. The Bears offense then kind of goes under this weird transition under Matt Nagy, right? And then Jordan Howard suddenly left out in the cold because, Tariq Cohen's on the scene and he can catch the ball and jump and run and he's quick. Great, that's lovely and all, but Jordan Howard's still the guy putting up the chunky yardage and getting 9 red zone touchdowns, right? All of his touchdowns, all 9 last year, were inside the 20, which says a lot about his production. And I remember putting a film room out before the Eagles even acquired Howard. It was I think the name of the film room was, Should the Eagles Trade for Jordan Howard? Basically saying that his patience is great, his offensive line let him down. I think Matt Nagy was asking them to do a little bit too much in that first season, and it was just like dominoes falling over left, right and centre. So I cut Jordan Howard some slack. I thought he was a perfect fit. Then he was go out and trade for him. Perfect. You think, you know what? Contract year for Jordan Howard. He goes in from I think it was 26th ranked run blocking offensive line last year into a top 5 unit in that metric. He's going to have a lot more paths cleared for him. He's going to have to do less work behind the line of scrimmage. This should be a breakout year for Jordan Howard. Excellent. Then the Eagles go and draft Miles Sanders. And it's not that this is like a mid-round or a day 3 pick. This is a guy that's a second-round selection, right? This is a second-round pick. Big guy, big Miles Sanders, Penn State, sat behind Saquon Barkley for years, has about the wear on a tyre that is brand new. It's barely come out of the box. It still smells of rubber. It's the equivalent of getting a new book and you smell the book and you're like, have I got a book to smell just for video purpose? I do have a World Cup sticker album from 2018. Is it completed? No, but we're gonna... Doesn't smell new. That's Corey Clement, yeah? What you want is a Miles Sanders, barely used at Penn State, and in his time where he did touch the field, absolutely prolific. I think he had over 300 yards after contact, very elusive, very slippery. We saw that during public practices. And a second round selection, the same pick, the 53rd overall pick that the Eagles used to get LaShawn McCoy back in 2009. And Howard suddenly goes from being the guy for a year to, I'm kind of just a placeholder until Sanders is ready for that role. Which is okay, alright? It's not the end of the world. It could be better, it could be worse, but it is what it is. Then this happens. Then you've gone from being traded after falling out of place in Chicago to then having Miles Sanders drafted to be your replacement to then being potentially shipped to LA. Now, Doug Peterson's gone out of his way, bless him, and he's told reporters on Friday the first thing they did was tell Jordan that that's not the case. Now, I would be very interested to hear the timing of that. Have they done that before the report's gone out and said, hey, Jordan, there could be a report saying this is going out? Have they reacted to the report? Or is there more there? The actual quote from Peterson on Friday was, we feel great about Jordan. It's why we brought him here. We actually went to Jordan when the report came out. So the second it came out, they went, Jordan, hang on, buddy, it's false, mate. Didn't come from us. No comprendo. Not from me. Not Dougie P. So just wanted to reassure him that this is the reason why you're here. What do you mean? Just wanted to reassure him that this is the reason why you're here. You're here to help us win games, not listen to trade spec. Jordan Howard is going to be running like a man possessed on Sunday. And if he's not, I will be stunned. Honestly, the guy averaged 4.3 yards per carry from shotgun last year, where the Eagles run the base of their offense from, if we look back at the last couple of years, while it is, I suppose, subject to change in some ways. That guy is going to be seething, like fuming, as if he has just been slapped around the face with a wet fish, right? Now, we don't know how long Jordan Howard's going to keep RB1 for. We don't know. This could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year. It could be 2, never know, it might stay. But the fact that Miles Sanders is breathing down his neck, and he's been passively informed that he could have been... I would have rather the Eagles said, hey, do you know what? It could happen. Play angry, be better. And I know that's probably a poor way of management. But it's better than finding out from a friend. You know, like, if someone cheats on you, I'm sure you'd much rather they own up and go, hey, you know what? I did a boo-boo. Blame it on the alcohol, whatever. I'm emotional, blah, blah, blah. Do the Antonio Brown a million reasons to be sorry. Why not? You know, go all out. Save that relationship while you still can. You do not wait until the report comes out. If this is legit, it might be the report's false. This could all be bridge under the water. Even so, he's going to be pissed off because someone's told him a lie. And he's pissed off because he's out of the picture. Grr, right? That's fair. But if it is true, and that is, I suppose, a reasonable if, it wouldn't be surprising to see Howie. That's a very Howie offer, isn't it? You know, it's a very undercutting offer here. And if that is true, again, it's closing the gate after the horse has bolted, right? There's no denying it. The horse has ran about 17 miles that way, ran over an old woman, and is now being chased by police. It's too late to close the door. It's way too late. The damage has been done. But if you do the damage and then go, hey, you know what? I made a mistake tonight. I got way too drunk and it was an old friend or whatever, and you just own up, you be accountable. I would have rather that if it is genuine. So I'm a little bit on the fence as to how that's been handled, but either way, I feel like Jordan Howard is going to be very, very much a fuming young man. Like, if you talk to Jordan tonight, what's on his playlist? It's not Post Malone's new album. It's not the 1975's new song. It's not even Beyonce. It's just Slipknot. It's Metallica. It's Mastodon. It's AC/DC. He is on a rage level right now. And I'm all for it. Like, if he breaks it, I would love for Howard to have a fantastic first year in Philadelphia, get out, get himself a big payday, because he deserves it. He's been overlooked since day one, extremely productive since day one. You can argue there's very few backs that equal his production. The numbers don't lie. The tape certainly doesn't, because I've broken it down. So I love what I've seen out of him. But someone might have been lying to him. And I would be very upset. Now, if you go one of two ways, do you go, do you know what? Screw it. Take Sanders. I'll sit back. I'll keep, he's had a lot of wear down over the last few years. Do you just say, hey, do you know what? I'm going to look after myself. Give it to Miles. I'm sitting back. I'm going to twiddle my thumbs. Maybe play some Candy Crush. Or do you do something else? Or do you go and do something about it? Do you go out, step up, and dominate? And that is what I think Jordan Howard's going to do. I think he's going to absolutely rip the NFL to shreds if afforded the opportunity. If the Eagles do not give Miles Sanders that RB1 role, if the Eagles don't give him that platform to begin with, I genuinely think Miles Sanders is going to be running like a man possessed. And that's only good things for the Birds. That is only good news for an Eagles offense that's coming up against the Washington defense that ranks 17th against the run. I'm just saying, I think this is going to be a catalyst for very, very strong rushing production from Jordan Howard.